The production possibilities curve is a graph that demonstrates one of the main foundations of all economic concepts, scarcity. Put simply, scarcity refers to the limits placed on resources. Time is not unlimited, money is not unlimited, the number of MacBook Pros that Apple sells each year is not unlimited. If scarcity did not exist, that is, resources were unlimited, there would be no need to make choices. Everyone could just have everything they wanted. But scarcity does exist in reality. And this scarcity is the reason the production possibilities curve exists. This curve, or graph, compares the production of two products. Usually economists will compare the production of two completely unrelated products. In this example, as you can see on the screen, we are comparing the production of butter to the production of guns. The graph at first may look a little intimidating, but all it is really saying is that if more butter is produced, then less guns can be produced, and vice versa. If scarcity did not exist, then we could just produce an unlimited amount of butter and guns, but scarcity does exist, so this curve also exists. The blue line represents the maximum amount of each good that can be produced by the economy. This is also known as the productive capacity of an economy. If there are, let's say, 800 tons of butter produced, then the economy can only support the production of 500,000 guns. If there are, let's say, 200 tons of butter produced, then the economy can support the production of 1.5 million guns. Point X is impossible to reach because it's outside of the economy's productive capacity. Well, it's not entirely impossible, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Sometimes, however, an economy may not be operating at its productive capacity. An economy may not be operating at the blue curve. At point A, for example, the economy is producing less butter and less guns than it could produce at its productive capacity. This is indicative of factors such as unemployment, unused factories, and much more, factors that are characteristic of an economic recession. On the flip side, when an economy is operating at its productive capacity, the standard of living is at the highest it can be within the constraints of the power of the economy at that time. However, it is important to note that the productive capacity of an economy is not fixed. The blue line of the graph can shift right and up, or left and down. If an economy grows by factors such as technology improvements, population increase, or a boost in capital, this blue line can shift to right and up. Yes, it is possible for point X to be reached if the economy grows, if the blue line moves outward. It is not possible to reach point X if the productive capacity is at where the blue line is as shown on the graph. If an economy shrinks or recedes, on the other hand, by factors such as population decrease, natural disaster, war, or an uneducated population, this blue line will shift left and down or inward. The productive capacity of the economy has shrunk. There really is no need to overthink this graph. All it is saying is that if more of one good is produced, then not as much of another good can be produced, even if the good is completely unrelated. You probably noticed that the production possibilities curve is indeed a curve, and is not linear or straight. This relates to something called the law of increasing costs. Basically, this law says that as you continue to increase the production of one good, the loss in the amount of production of the other good also increases. That sounds confusing, but it can be explained pretty simply by the graph. Let's say you go from producing 0 to 200 tons of butter. The loss of gun production is very low, as shown by the red line. Now let's go from 200 to 400 tons of butter. Now the loss, which is demonstrated by this red line, is a bit bigger, and this red line will keep getting bigger. Once we get to 800 tons of butter, increasing production by even a little bit will drastically decrease the amount of guns that can be produced. The same would happen if we did it the other way around, continually increasing the production of guns and measuring butter. While usually a production possibilities curve will compare the production of two products, it is possible for it to compare other economic processes. For example, it could compare two projects occurring in a community, let's say the cleanup of a pond and a canned food drive. If more resources, scarce resources that is, such as time and money, are put into the pond cleanup, then less time and money can be put into the canned food drive, and vice versa. While it may be unsettling to some that the graph you see has no units, well, it doesn't really matter. The curve is just meant to display a basic concept. If more of one good is produced or a project is performed, then not as much of another good can be produced or project can be performed. If you really want to, you could put some more specific labels or units to your axes. You could put the cumulative total benefits of pond cleanup on one axis and the number of canned goods that are donated on the other axis. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that the greater benefits obtained in pond cleanup correlate with a lower number of canned goods donated and vice versa. Scarcity means you can't have everything, and the production possibility curve shows just that.